Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Huzoor says that the promised Messiah alayhi salam, on one occasion describing the philosophy of the prayer, said that a child, when it becomes restless because of hunger and cries for the milk, so then in the breast of the mother the milk comes there by force, and the child does not know about prayer, but his cries attract the milk. And he said that sometime it is seen that the mothers, they do not feel that there is milk in their breast, but the cries of the child, they stimulate and attract the milk. So he says that then when if we cry before Allah Almighty, are they not capable of attracting anything? Everything comes. But those people who are blind of eyes, those who consider themselves as philosophers, they cannot see this. He said that the resemblance of a child to the mother, in that relationship, if one brings that spectrum to his mind and then understands the philosophy of the prayer, then then the prayer becomes very easy and simple to understand. And it's by the grace of Allah, there's a lot of blessings upon Ahmadis, that all young and old, they understand this point fully, that rest with anguish when you cry and weep before Allah Almighty, when you submit to Allah Almighty and you pray to Him, then Allah Almighty listens to the prayers and responds to that. And sometimes there are certain examples of the acceptance of prayer which even put the other Muslims, other people into surprise. Some people say that as sometime when there is despair from every side and they are disappointed, and this sort of situation is there, at that time when we submitted to Allah, then Allah Almighty showed His blessing, which increased our faith and gave us the strength of faith. Some such incidents are mentioned in various reports. I am going to present some examples of that. Nazar Dawatullah Qadian writes that the Amir of Hoshiarpur district mentioned that few years back in their village, Chira Acharwal, because there was no rain, the people in village, they were very much upset. So much so that the level in the well that went very deep, and a majority of the people, they asked the Mollim to pray. In eastern Punjab, the Mollim is generally called as Miyaji. They believed that when we will request the Ahmadi Mollim to pray, then definitely rain will come. Anyway, our Mollim, first he told them the manners of the Islamic prayer and told them the attributes of Allah, and then he led the prayer. Allah the Almighty, Allah Almighty accepted the prayer of this Mollim of the Jamaat Ahmadiyya, and within 2-3 hours there was heavy rain came, and he gave the proof of his being Sami and Samiud Dua, that he listens to the prayer and he knows everything. And there was a good impression in the whole village, and all the people in the village, they openly said that it is because of the prayer of the Ahmadis the rain has come. And similarly, in Amir Sahib, Fiji Islands, he said that before going for visit to Tuvalu, the missionary in Tuvalu said, it's a small island close to Fiji. There was no rain for a long time, and the water depends on the rain. So before going for the tour of this island, he wrote to me for the prayer, and he requested for prayer for the rain. And he said that when we reached Tuvalu, that the people over there, when we reached there, they expressed too much anxiety that the water is almost becoming extinct. He said that on the same night, in the Isha prayer, I announced that in the last sajda that we are going to offer of the Isha, we are going to specially pray for the rain. So Allah the Almighty accepted our humble prayer, and on the night the rain came, which is a blessing of Allah. And after that 3-4 times the rain came, one after the other, while according to the weather forecast for a long period there was prediction of dry period for a long period. And he says that after that, wherever we went, the people mentioned this thing, that on your arrival the rain has come. So the Bishop of Catholic Church and Funafati, the chief of that area, also mentioned that this is purely the blessing of Allah. And Jamaat and the Khalifa of the time, the prayers made by them, they are the cause of this extraordinary rain here. And this rain is not only the means of increase in faith, but it also became a means of understanding knowing the truth of the promised Messiah. In some places, sometime when the rain comes, that becomes the sign of the acceptance of the prayer, and sometime the rain stops, and that becomes the sign of the truth of Ahmadiyya, whether the other people believe it or not. But certainly they do accept this thing, that God of Islam is the one who listens to the prayer. In Guinea-Bissau is a country in Africa, the Muslim there, Abdullah Sahib, he says that we went to a village for preaching, and we gathered the people and conveyed the message of Jamaat Ahmadiyya to these people when they were being preached. During that period, a heavy rain started, and because of the noise of rain, my voice was not reaching the people, and it appeared that the people will go back, and people were very much worried because they wanted to go. At that very time that I prayed that, "Oh my Allah, rain has been sent by you, and the message that I have brought, that is your message. But because of the rain, these people are not listening to my message. They won't be able to listen to this message, and they are just about to get up." He said that I just prayed this thing, that Allah the Almighty gave the order to the rain, and then all those people who were present there, 150 people, the rain stopped, and the 150 people, we preached to them. And after that, all the people, Alhamdulillah, they did the bath. Here, while after the prayer for the rain, and then the stopping of the rain, and after the prayer that happened, where it strengthened the faith of our Muslim, and also those people, they also were able to witness the God who is listening to the prayer. People says, how can we see God? Allah Almighty shows His might and powers in this way. Those very people, those who were just about to leave the gathering, looking at the blessing of Allah Almighty, they not only sat down, but they also accepted the message of Ahmadiyya, the true Islam. Similarly, Bandodo, Hafiz Sahib is the Muballigh there. He says that with the local Muallim and with 2 Khuddam, I went to visit a village. On the way there was heavy rain. It was difficult to go further because the path was very slippery and narrow. And so he said that they stopped at a while and they prayed that, "Oh Allah, we are going there to convey the message of your Messiah. Please have mercy on us and remove all the obstacle of the way. So because we had given them the information, people had gathered there. So he says that Allah Almighty immediately listened to our prayer, and the rain instantly stopped. Apparently it appeared that the rain will continue till evening. So we were very, very much worried. Allah showed the blessing, and according to the program, we arrived the village on time, and Tablighi and Tarbiyathi program were held according to the program. Then, and in connection with the stopping of the rain as a result of prayer, Wahab Tayyib Sahib, Switzerland missionary there, he says that Jamaat in one area purchased land for the building of the mosque, and as a symbol of peace, there was a program of tree planting with reference to the peace, and other people were invited. And on that day, when this program was there to plant the tree, according to the prophecy, there was very heavy rain predicted. And because the program was going to be conducted outside, so they were very much worried. So with this reference, they wrote to me, and many letters came one after the other. He says that on the day of the program, when we went there, first the rain started, very heavy rain. And there was no indication of the rain stopping at that time. But then, because of the prayers, Allah Almighty showed His blessing, and there was 1 hour before the start of the program that the rain totally stopped, and there was sunshine. And at the time of the program, they say the president of the local council was also there. The very first thing, he said with great surprise that have you placed an order for for weather for your program? So he was told that we do pray, and we also wrote to the Khalifa of the time for prayer, and we were very much confident that Allah Almighty will help us. And this program was eventually very successful. The news of that item was in the press, and many people got the message of Islam. So we cannot control the weather, and we cannot do that. But we do supplicate to that Allah in whose hand is all the weather. And then Allah Almighty shows all these examples. And now, from going away from the weather, there are other examples of the acceptance of prayer which I present. Our God is not only the God of weather, but He is omnipotent, and He is the one who listens to all the prayers. He has got so many attributes, and He shows the examples of those attributes. In Benin, the Mullim Mateen Sahib says that a few days ago a new convert came, and he said, Murabi Sahib, you come to our house. And he said that my wife is critically ill. So at that, I took my wife with me and went to his house, because it was the case of delivery of his wife, and there was a need of lady, and the time was that, and she was suffering from high fever. And because of that high fever, because of the shrinking of the uterus, the birth was not taking place. The person said that previously 2 times a similar thing has happened, where either the child would save or the mother. So both the times, so they tried to save the mother, and they gave the sacrifice of the child. And this the 3rd time it's happening. Mullim Silsila said that in this condition, we, along with the prayer, with the medicine, we also pray, and we also write to Huzoor. But now in this case, there is not much time. So the dua in the formal way we will do, and there is no time. So there is no time to write a letter. So let's get together and pray. So he said that I, invoking the blessed names of the Holy Prophet of Allah Almighty, and invoking the name of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I started the prayer. And when the prayer ended, and I blew upon the water the Surah Al-Fatiha, and 2-3 times I did so, and that water was sent to the wife, and third time the husband said that Allah Almighty saved my wife and also blessed me with a son. So in this way, the new convert, his faith was very much strengthened and well established on the existence of Allah. And regarding the prayer, his faith was further strengthened. And since that time, he is very carefully and very modestly and humbly and with anguish, he has become a man of prayer. Mentioning another person, a sick person, the Amir of Kenya writes that the president of a Jamaat, he became very seriously ill. And when we inquired about his health, he said that 2 hospitals have declined to about my health, and now my condition is really very bad. At any time you can hear a bad news. And the color of his skin had changed, and the body was just like a dead body. And we gave them the consolation that you pray and we will pray. And Molim says that he also wrote a letter to me. Molim says that after 1 week, when I went to the same community to lead the Jummah prayer, so I saw that his condition is better. And after a few days, and he received the reply from me after a few days that Allah Almighty, inshallah ta'ala, will give him complete recovery. And he says after that, by the grace of Allah, his condition is improving day by day. And after some time, he was absolutely all right and he is doing his job. So therefore, as a result of the prayer, by the grace of Allah, he was granted a new life. And in this way, his faith was further strengthened. Karnataka, India, Amir Zila district Amir writes that the president of the Jamaat writes from there that he was suffering from brain tumor and he got admitted in hospital. Doctor said his treatment is impossible and he may lose his life during the operation. He immediately sent a message here for prayer, and he got the prayer that Allah Almighty may grant him recovery. After 1 month, when he was examined again, the doctors were very much surprised that there was no trace of brain tumor at all. This was only the blessing of Allah Almighty that Hussain Sahib was he recovered from this sickness. And then another mention of another patient is Hafiz Ehsan Skandar Sahib. He is missionary in Belgium. He says that one Ahmadi person, Dawood Sahib, was feeling bad. He was admitted to hospital. Lungs were not working properly. He suffered a heart attack in hospital. He was put on ventilator, and after some time the doctor said nothing can be done. And the family also requested, the family requested that the funeral arrangements may be made for him. And Hafiz Sahib wrote a letter to me for prayer, and he also prayed and also the community for prayer. And in that group of the community in Sadr Ansarullah Secretary Tabligh, when they went to visit him, the doctor said that the miracle has taken place, that the medicine that we were giving to him previously and the body was not accepting that medicine, now the same medicine is working and he is feeling better and better. So we said that this miracle is because of the prayer, and Allah the Almighty has granted him a new life. Regarding the acceptance of the prayer and other miscellaneous examples are there, incidents they are there. They are example for the community, for their relationship with the Khilafat and the truth of Ahmadiyyat, and belief in Allah Almighty will increase. Mustafa Sahib in Saudi. He says that I wrote a letter to you for prayer that I may be transferred to a certain city so that I can stay with my family. He said apparently it was difficult, impossible. But with the prayer, such a miracle is there that there was a series of transfers. And from 33rd number, I have come to number 1 on the top of the list. Whenever there is a case of transfer, I will be given the opportunity. I will be able to live my family. He said this thing is no less than a miracle for me. Everyone knows their condition. Sometimes certain things appear to be very simple, but the one who is suffering from that, he realizes that how impossible thing has happened by the grace of Allah and the prayer. One incident is from Tanzania. The Morogoro Muallim in there, Latif Sabi writes, he says that somebody stole the solar battery from one of our mosques, and when the members of the community came to know the next day, they decided that we should, instead of giving the report to the police, it's better that we should pray to Allah, because police will not note it down and nothing will happen. So it's better that we should pray and we submit to Allah and beg from Him. And we should say that whosoever has stolen this battery, Allah Almighty may punish him directly, and we may get our battery back. He said that on that occasion, some people who had heard about the non-Ahmadis, he had gathered, and this message is spread in the village that whosoever has stolen this battery, Allah Almighty may capture him and punish. And non-Ahmadis, they started say that Ahmadis' prayers are well accepted. Now the thief is going to be captured, because now there is no other way left for him. So just one day had passed by that the one who stole the battery, early in the morning, he put the battery outside the house of the president of the community. And in this way, Allah Almighty listened to the prayer of Ahmadis, and the faith of the non-Ahmadis that was further strengthened about the acceptance of prayer, and they realized the Ahmadis are pious people. So anyway, it proves that even the thieves over there, they have some fear of Allah, and they got afraid by the name of God. But the mullahs in Pakistan, their hearts are completely devoid of the fear of Allah. They are Allah's commandments, and they disobey that and violate that. And these are the people who have created such a disorder in the whole nation. Allah Almighty have mercy on all these unjust people, and Allah Almighty deliver these people from such people. Describing Muballigh in charge, Guinea Conakry writes that a devout new convert young man, Suleiman Sahib, he expressed his desire that after study he want to serve the community. So we got him admitted in Jamia Ahmadiyya in Sierra Leone, and he accepted happily, and the preparation was being done. And when we mentioned this to their parents, who had not accepted Ahmadiyya, so that their consent could be taken, so apparently they became very happy. And after gathering all the information, they said, after 2 days I will come back. And when they went back and consulted their mullah, and then he rejected that. And against us, they registered a case against us that Jamaat Ahmadiyya is a non-Muslim and terrorist community, and they are misguiding the youngsters and making them terrorists. So we got very much afraid about that. One day they wrote to me for prayer. And anyway, so I replied to them, and I prayed and asked them to continue praying. When the inquiry was made by police, and when the introduction of the Jamaat was presented to the police, and leaflets were given, so by the grace of Allah, the police commissioner not only deleted the case, but he said that the Islam presented by the Ahmadis, that is much better, appears to me much better. And police inspector said, give me some more information. I would like to join this community. Then one incident is from Mali region. Mustantar Sahib says that this year in Jalsa Salana Mali, members were asked to come, and so that people should come in large number, as because there is a place where the Jalsa was to take place. It's about 400 kilometers. The people are very poor, and more than 10,000 franc is the fare to go there. So it becomes very difficult for poor people to arrange for such a big amount. And if the whole family goes, one member named Yahya, he catches the fish and sells in the market. So in the whole year, he was able to save the journey expenses of one person. And he said that only one person has to go. So therefore I have decided that I should send my wife. Murabi Sahib told him that your intention is good, but do effort, do some effort to that you also may be able to go there, and Allah Almighty may give you such a good catch that He can make the money. So on that morning when the group has to start for the Jalsa, he came in the evening. He came, and in his hand there was a big fish, about 12 kilo. And he said when he put his net in the river in the morning, then I prayed very much that tomorrow the group of the people are going and I don't have the money to pay the fare, so that I may be able to attend. May Allah help me. So at the time of Asr, when I pulled the net, this fish was there. When I came to the bank, and 18,000 franc he purchased in that amount, and he said, I said that I will show you this fish, and now both me and my wife can join, and we have got some extra money. We can both go and join the Jalsa. Allah Almighty, how Allah Almighty in them the strength of the faith and the belief in Khilafat. Writing one incident from Mali, Idris Sahib, he says that in 2008, when I visited Ghana and I participated in the Jalsa, that was Khilafat Jubilee Jalsa. At that time, this person, these Ahmadis also attended, and he said, I have a business of chicken, and leaving the chicken behind, I went to Ghana, and all the chicken, they died. And the one whose money was being invested in that business, when he came to know about that I am an Ahmadi and I have gone to Jalsa and the chicken have died, and he became very mad in opposition. And when I came back, and he sent a message that within 1 week 150,000 money should be given to him, and I was very much worried, because this much money I don't have. I worried that he is going to disgrace me. On the night I prayed very hard that Allah Almighty make some arrangement for me. I went there in the love of Khalifa, and that's why I went to Jalsa. I was shown in the dream from a truck some grain is falling down, and I'm gathering that. A special amount of place was shown, and there is a lot of grain coming down, which I am gathering. And in the morning I went to that place where which was shown to me. There was no truck, but there was a heap of grain over there, which I started gathering. And suddenly I got a big bag of plastic, a black color, and there was 180,000 franc in there. I asked the people there that at the night time there was a truck here which has now gone to Senegal. So I asked, I have got this money from here, If it belongs to someone, nobody came. So anyway, the person to whom I owed the money, when he came in the evening, so I told him that just wait, I will give you the money. Allah Almighty has made the arrangement for me, and I returned him the whole money. And now so many years have passed by, and nobody has ever claimed to be the owner of that money. In the same way, from Germany, Bulgaria, Hafizullah Barwana Sahib says that a new convert, Ehsan Sahib, who is from Lebanon, I met him in Germany, and during the meeting, with reference to asylum, he mentioned his problems because the police had told him that he may be turned back, he may be deported at any time. He said that this thing increased his faith. Allah Almighty showed a great miracle, that his case, despite the police was saying that no asylum will be given to him, he was given the asylum for 3 years, and he is very happy now. And he tells everybody that this is because of the prayer. Allah Almighty has showed this miracle. Non-Muslims have even, there are some shown the examples of the acceptance of the prayer of the Ahmadis, which makes them believe that the God of Islam is the one who listens to the prayer. Mirza Sahib from Canada says that in one interfaith conference, he went to the north of Vancouver in a village, and by looking at the phone book, I found this person that we are going to hold the meeting of interfaith. We would like to meet you. He very happily he welcomed us to his home and offered us hospitality, and we offered the Zohar and Asr prayer, and he permitted us to offer the prayer there, and he promised to give all the help for the conference. When we were just about to leave, he very humbly said that his son has got 3 daughters, and we should pray that he may be blessed with son. He said that we raised the hand and did the prayer, and we said that we are going to write over Khalifa for the prayer, and by the grace of Allah now, one and a half year after he telephoned, he said very happily that he has been blessed with a grandson. So these are some examples of the acceptance of the prayer. Hadhrat Massih says that in the law of nature, the acceptance of prayer, their examples are very many. As in the beginning, regarding the crying of the child, the breast of the mother is filled with milk, that has been mentioned already. This is the law of nature, and he says that according to this very law, in every time Allah Almighty sends the fresh examples, and if you want to become a part of the example of this new example, then you have to fulfill certain conditions. Some people say that we prayed but there was no result. He says there are certain conditions which have to be fulfilled. He says the requirement of the prayer is that first of all the good deeds and full conviction should be there. The person who does not reform his beliefs, and he does not perform good deeds, and he does not do his own effort, and then he prays, then he is putting God to trial. So the faith should be strong. At the same time, in the practical way, in order to get the pleasure of Allah Almighty, it's very important to change and mold according to that. And it is not possible that you do not pay to the 5 daily prayers, do not give the rights to the people, and whenever you are in difficulty, only then you pray to Allah. And all the things you remember when you are in difficulty. First you have to modify your behavior and attitude. And only from doctrinal side this thing is not achieved, unless there are pious and good deeds along with it. And Amal Saleh, the pious deed, means that you discharge the rights of the God Almighty and also the rights of the people should be discharged. So this is one. If this is there, then Allah Almighty listens to the prayer. Allah Almighty enable all of us to mold our lives according to His commandments, and also the due rights of the worship and the prayer that we may be able to do. After the prayer, I am going to lead two namaz janaza. One is Chaudhry Nematullah Sahib, who devoted his life after the retirement, rather before that, and he was Nazim Jaidad, the property in Pakistan. 15th of January, he passed away in Canada. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. In his family, the Ahmadiyyat came. Hadhrat Hussain Bibi Sahiba, mother of Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib, it came through him. She did the bath in Qadian because of a dream. Hussain Bibi Sahiba, his husband Chaudhry Nasrullah Khan Sahib, his son Chaudhry Ghulamullah Sahib, he did the bath at the hand of the promised Messiah. Chaudhry, she was grandfather of Chaudhry Nematullah Sahib. Choi Sahib, he was given the opportunity of serving the community. He was Amir Jamaat in Hyderabad, and he was Nazim in Hyderabad and Qaid Khudamul Ahmadiyya. Nazim property in Sadr Ahmadiyya in Rabwa, Pakistan. And from childhood, he was regular offering the Tahajjud prayer, and till the end he continued to do so very regularly. He used to offer in the intensity of the weather and the rain or whatever. He always wanted to go to the mosque and pray. He was very profound belief in the acceptance of prayer. Attachment with Khilafat was very high. He used to give importance to the attendance of Jalsa, participation in Jalsa. Once before the Khilafat, Hadhrat Khalifatul Rabe, he was on tour in Hyderabad. On the way was the house of Chaudhry Sahib. He went there and stayed there for 2 days. Chaudhry Sahib, he was not at home. He told his wife that now you do the service of religion. Otherwise, he was serving the community in so many ways, but now you do it regularly. When he got this message, he after that immediately dedicated his life and wrote a letter. He used to reach everywhere before the other workers. He used to reach the office. He was very patient and very steadfast and grateful, and taking care of the condition of other people and control over. And he was very soft-hearted person, and a simple problem or difficulties he never mentioned to other people. During his service, his pay was very good, but he was never spending too much on his personal needs, or never mentioned like that. And he was very honest in dealing, and because of that, the owners of the textile mills and other boss, they had great regard for that because of the honesty. And when his son started the textile job in Faisalabad, so then the owners of so many mill owners said that how can you do the job without the guarantee? Because this guarantee is good enough that you are the son of Chaudhry Sahib. And he had a very good popularity and a good name among the people. And he used to ask his children to always write a letter to Khalifa of the time. He has left behind 3 daughters and 2 sons, and he was a Musi Shab. One of his close friend writes that Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib, his grandfather, Huzoor says that not the grandfather, but the father of Chaudhry Nematullah Sahib, Anayatullah Sahib, he was a cousin of Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib. He once he came to know that his father was angry with Chaudhry Nematullah Sahib, was angry, and Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib wrote a letter to his father that I was in Pakistan, that I came to know that you are not happy with Chaudhry Nematullah. I don't know why you are angry with him. I just say that you know that Nematullah, as long as he stayed in London and he came for study, and whenever I went to London, he always met me, and whenever he was there in Switzerland, then there I used to meet him. Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib says, I can say with full certainty that I have found him very obedient, very nice, good morals, and a very devout person. And because of his good morals and the nobility, and you should be duly proud of, because of his qualities. He was very pious man, and I am very happy with his good morals. I continuously pray for him, and even nowadays I pray in every prayer for him. And he said, I can say very truly that out of the three relatives, that these Nematullah who was studying there, Azim, he was a very pious and very noble person, and he is the best of the three. And then Nizamat Jaidad, one worker in the Mukhtar-e-Am, writes that he was very kind always. He was not very harsh. He was very, very modest, and he was very dervish-like person. And he was very successful, worldly wise. But despite that, he was extremely modest person, very humble. And with officers in relationship, he was very respectful. And whether the officer was a younger in age, but he would respect him duly. And he has written, and very truly he has written, that after the acceptance of Waqf-e-Zindagi, the dedication of life, he completely forgot himself. The arrogance, no aspect of that was to be seen in his life. He says that mostly when I went to his office, he was busy in remembrance of Allah. He says that wherever the point of the community came, and he would always honor that link. In Ravwa, one Ahmadi, he captured one piece of land, and he gave this impression to the people that I have a relationship with Chaudhry Sahib, and then nobody should object to me. Chaudhry Sahib, when he came to know, so very firmly and strictly, he said that he did not show this strictness with anybody. There were other people who also captured the thing, but as he was his relative, so he was very strict in this matter, and he advised him not to do that. And he said, once Chaudhry Sahib said that I have never fought, I had quarrel with my wife, ever. Whenever there was mention of Khilafat, his eyes would shine. Once there was a proposal of marriage of his son, and he came somehow that Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih Rabbi does not like this proposal. So he called for his son and said that I do not say that you break this proposal. I can't force you, but I do say that when Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih Rabbi does not like that, so then I will not be participating in that marriage. So the son automatically himself broke this proposal. Allah Almighty may exalt his status and his progeny enabled to continue these good pious deeds which they did. The second janazah is Zafrullah Khan Buttar Sahib of Sheikhupura. He passed away on 9th of January. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. He was born Ahmadi. His father Chaudhry Allah Datta Sahib, in 1928 he accepted Ahmadiyyat. In his Kirto Zila Sheikhupura, he was the president there he was very regularly offering tahajjud and 5 daily prayers. He was very regularly listening to khutbat, the Friday sermons, and he was very modest and humble. But in the tarbiyat of the children, he was used to observe minutely. And 3 daughters he has left behind, and 3 sons has been left behind. One, Sajid Mahmood Buttar, is a missionary, and he is in Jamia Ahmadiyya Ghana International. He is performing there because of his responsibilities. He was unable to go at the time of the demise of his father. Allah Almighty give him solace. And he said that he always looked after our training from the childhood. He used to take me to the mosque along with him, and whenever there was a guest, he would introduce me happily that I have dedicated this son and he is going to Jamia. The result of that was that never ever there was no other thought of any other education, and always it was clear to me that I have to go to Jamia. Allah Almighty may enable the children to continue their good deeds in their lives, and the spirit and dedication he has dedicated his son. Allah Almighty enable his son truly with the spirit of waqf, and enable him to fulfill this covenant. And Allah Almighty exalt the status of the deceased and have mercy upon him.